Hello and welcome to Access Paranormal. My name's Jamie Williams. Joining me in the studio as usual is my co-host Jonathan Sullivan.
Hi Jamie.
And Jonathan, what a great night we've got ahead of us tonight.
Haven't we just?
We've got a wonderful interview with a lovely lady called Emma Flood.
Yeah.
Paranorthern they're called.
Yeah.
So that's a good one.
Hyphen
Northern.
That's the one.
Yeah. Really good, lovely person.
Yeah.
And she'll be coming on a regular basis. I think it's about every 6 to 7 weeks we're going to be getting her on.
Yeah, yeah. And I think the whole group's coming, aren't they?
Yep, they're coming down to do an investigation, so we're going to be doing a full interview with them because it'll be the first time they've ever been to Mill Street Barracks, so that'll be a cracking night, that one.
It'll be lovely to meet all the team.
Yeah, and also a little bit later on is our mini invest we did over in the dormitories here at Mill Street Barracks.
I know, it's been a while since we've been up there, Jamie.
A couple of years. Because we always spend time in the cellar or in the main hall. Yeah,
or up on the balcony.
Or on the balcony. We don't.
Classrooms. Yeah.
I think it's because at one time, when you were over that side, you had like Hope Street with all the music and the bands and the
it
the
was
karaoke
very busy, wasn't it?
It was always busy, so for some reason or other we steered away from that.
That's right.
But we decided to go up there, didn't we? And it was a good one.
Yeah, but while it's quiet as well, because it's pretty quiet up there.
Yeah.
Without the clubs and stuff open till late.
Definitely.
So it is very quiet, so a really good time. And
Yeah, and what was good is if people listen, you'll hear the part. I'm gonna tell you where it is because I want you to listen to see if you can hear it. There's a part where I say, "Did you hear that?" Or I thought I heard something.
Yeah.
When I say that, just listen. And if you hear what we've heard, let us know. Give us a message and say what you heard. We're not going to say any more than that because I don't want to put anything into your head about what it said or if it said anything. I'm just going to let you have a listen to that.
Yeah.
But that was quite good, that one. And there's a couple of other little things in there as well.
There is.
But we're doing that in 2 parts, aren't we? We're doing, this one next week as well.
Yeah.
So that's a good one to put on as well.
And there will also be a video going up on YouTube.
Oh,
that will correspond with that as well.
Yeah, we won't say why because
no, I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah, there'll be a video alongside that one so people can watch as well as hearing it on the show.
Yeah,
what happened? You'll be able to watch the video of what happened as well, which is quite nice.
Yeah,
we haven't done that before, and it's the first time we've ever done it. So it's a start, isn't it?
That's it. Let's see what happens.
And we're looking at other things as well. The other thing we're looking at as well is putting a camera in here.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So when we're doing the shows or pre-recording the shows, people can watch us.
Yeah.
Obviously, when we're pre-recording the show, when we're recording it, the volume will be down. We won't be able to put the audio up, but you can see who's here or with us in here and see us chatting and making mistakes as usual.
Yeah, you'll be able to hear us before the recordings and after them.
Yeah. And if you want to ask us any questions, that'd be great, and we could even throw them in the show, the next show, couldn't we? And say, people who are watching us live ask this question, and great idea that.
Yeah, a bit of question and answers.
Yeah, so once that's up, we will announce it anyway.
Yeah, we will.
We were looking at we've got like an actual 360 camera, weren't they, so they can scroll around as well.
That's right, yeah.
So we're going to try and get that working. If that doesn't work, well, we tried, we'll just put the web with the Wi-Fi camera up there so people can watch.
Trial and error, really, isn't it?
Of course it is, but I mean, it's a good one.
It is.
That'll
be good.
Not for them, they'll be able to see our ugly faces, won't we?
They never thought about that.
Well, it is paranormal. It's scary moments, so why not look at us and get frightened anyway?
I know.
But no, we just...
Especially you. Yeah. My God.
They'll only see the back of me.
Them too much.
They only see the back of me unless you're putting the camera somewhere else. I don't know. But no, it'd be a good idea, that one.
It's a good one.
So hopefully, we can't promise to say when because we've got to do testers first.
Yeah.
But we'll have a live camera in here.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why we can't put the audio out when we're recording the shows because we want you to listen to the show.
Yeah, that's right.
What we might do though is write on a piece of paper like fun signs and things like that.
Sneak preview.
But you don't know because what we're going to do as well is we're going to put a low light on.
Yeah.
Very low light. So what we can do is while people are watching us, they can look to see if anything happens. We will we will put a cat ball out.
Outside, we can put that outside, can't we? And there's a window you can see through.
And one in the studio.
And we could leave, we could put one in the studio, and we could leave the door open so they could see through the door onto the balcony as well.
Yeah.
So if they see or hear anything.
Yeah. But the only thing is you've got the back to the door, I haven't.
Yeah, so I'll be alright because I won't be able to see it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't think that's a good idea, but okay, I'm only kidding. That's a good idea. Yeah. You can sit here.
Okay. Yeah, we'll think on that one.
Yeah, you didn't think that one through quick enough, did you?
No.
Do you know what? Jonathan's there with me, right? And he's put a big bag of M&Ms in front of me, knowing that we can't open it because what will happen is... So I'm just staring at a pack of M&Ms and I'm dying to have one. But another things we're going to be talking about on the show a little bit later on is with SLS cameras. So, we've got them, table tipping.
Tipping.
Table tipping. The human pendulum.
Yeah.
Dowsing rods. Yeah. And other paranormal equipment because I know we spoke about it one time. Yeah. Was it last week we spoke about it? We were talking about the old stuff, what we used to be out there, what we used. So we're going to carry on with that little bit of a subject because we had a little bit of a feedback on that saying it was interesting because people forget about what we've used.
These days.
So we're going to bring that up later on in the show. Yeah. So that'll be interesting, won't it?
That'll be good, won't it?
And the worst thing is this week, before we started all this, I said to you, have you seen anything on YouTube that we can talk about tonight? And you went, no. I said no because I haven't had time.
I know.
And Lee Arnold isn't here to go, no.
And do you know what?
What?
I bet he's watched something as well.
I wouldn't be surprised.
He's not here to say.
I know, yeah. But hopefully he'll be in next week, Lee, because he can only do every 2 weeks because of his job.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's understandable, isn't it?
It is.
And, we've got a few other guests coming along. I think, is it next week we've got Be Paranormal on?
I think it is, yeah.
It is Be Paranormal.
Yeah.
That's Brett and Emma. Yeah. Not Emma Flood who's on tonight, but another Emma.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting because they're actually coming into the barracks as well to do an investigation.
That's right, yeah.
It'll be nice to see how they feel about getting back out into the field.
Yeah.
So, and as we were saying the other week, it's fantastic now that groups are now coming out.
It's good, isn't it?
They're getting out onto the investigations and everything else.
Definitely good news.
And the other thing as well is there's a lot of live videos now, live investigations on YouTube, and not YouTube, sorry, on Facebook,
isn't it? Yeah, everyone seems to be going Facebook Live with all the invests and everything. Yeah,
and it's good.
It is. It's good. It's all good. All the different locations that are out there as well.
I'll tell you who's on live a lot on there. There's Richard Felix.
Oh, right, okay.
And it's good fun as well. When you listen to him, I've dipped in it quite a few times now and watched him.
Oh, that's good.
And he's out there, and Emma's got a live one. Emma Flood, she does it live.
Yeah, she goes Facebook Live, doesn't she?
Yeah, which is great. And she does interviews on them live as well.
That's right, yeah.
Which is great. Emma, not dropping any hints, Emma, but me and Jonathan are here, I mean. Yeah. Sorry, Emma, I couldn't resist that. But yeah, we've got a lot to talk about tonight, regarding the equipment of the paranormal stuff and that. We might just dip into the locations as well.
Why not?
Yeah, that took you by surprise, but yeah,
it did.
Yeah, there's a lot of locations I'd love to go to. Yeah, there's it. Only because I wrote that. Do you know what? Now we've gone posh. We've got notepads on the table so we can write notes down.
Haven't we just?
Yeah, mine looks dead neat. And Jonathan looks like he's had a few drinks when he's wrote his down, but hey ho.
Mine's shorthand.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that. I'd say more. It starts with a sh, but it's not definitely a hand.
Jamie.
I'll tell you what we're going to do is after the Emma Flood interview, we start talking about the equipment. Because in a couple of seconds, we're going to be talking to. Well, we're not going to be talking. We did the interview with Emma Flood, and she was brilliant.
She was lovely, wasn't she?
Yeah, I loved the interview with her. She was dead laid back and everything else. So I'll tell you what, instead of us going on and on and on about Emma, let's go over to her now. And this is Emma's interview she did with us. So now we're joined by Emma Flood of Paranormal in Bolton. Hello, Emma.
Hi there, you okay?
I'm fine, thanks. Now, we've just taken you around Mill Street Barracks, haven't we? Because obviously you're going to come here. But first of all, before we talk a little bit about that, tell us a little bit about your group. Who's in it? Okay. How you started?
Yeah, well, so we're called Paranormal. We've been going for nearly 4 years now. I've been in the paranormal field for about 15 years, though, on and off. But I set up the group with some friends that I used to work with. There's 9 of us in the group. We all work full time, a very different kind of professions that we're in. There are some skeptics in the group, which I think is good, because if everyone believed, I think it'd be kind of a little bit biased. So I think it's good to have someone that's a non-believer, because then they can take a more kind of realistic look at things. We don't think everything's paranormal when we go to an investigation. We always try and debunk it, because we've been to locations in the past where like the heating's been on all day and the lights have been on all day, and then once they go off, within an hour they're still settling and you can hear noises, and we're like, right, what's that? And it's like, okay, the lights have only just come off. So it's little things like that you've got to take into consideration. And I think like some of the group are like really eager and keen, and they're like, oh my god, is that like paranormal? And I was like, well, no, maybe not, so let's just see if it happens again in a couple of hours, because then there might be something a little bit more to it. I think with the group, there's been quite a few like people that have left and obviously come back. We've got some new people that have come into the group, which are bringing some really good things to the group. We've got a guy with a history degree.
You can name the people.
Sorry. So there's Dan, who is he's an ex-police officer, and he does our research, so he's got a history degree as well. We've got Gary, who is our tech guy, so he's got all the equipment. He sets up all the cameras on an investigation. I honestly don't know where I'd be without Gary, to be honest, because I am such a technophobe, so it's good that we've got him. And then we've got Sherelle, who's kind of my assistant team leader, and then Katie, who have been with the group since it started in day one, so they've kind of stayed with me throughout all of it. We've got other people who are, like I said, like Ross is, he kind of believes, but I think because he's never really properly experienced anything himself, right? Yeah, he's still a little bit sceptic, so which is good. But we did an investigation on Friday night up at Smithers Hall in Bolton, and his name came over on the spirit box, Ross's name, and he was a bit like, why has it just said my name? And I was like, well, maybe it's kind of either somebody that you may know who's passed, or the spirit, whoever's there, could be just acknowledging that you're here as well. Because we always introduce ourselves when we're on an investigation, because I just think you've got to be polite when you're doing an investigation, because if you're antagonising things, I don't think you're going to get anywhere. It's not how we operate. I think it's disrespectful. And when you're trying to contact people on the other side, you've got to be respectful. You'd be respectful in life, so be respectful when they've passed over, because whoever you're speaking to, they might be finding it really hard to come across because they could be shy. Do you know what I mean? It could be anything like that, especially when you're dealing with children. If you're being shouty, they're not going to approach you, but if you get to their level, you've probably got more chance of them coming across. In terms of like the different locations that we've done Castle Street Police Station quite a few times now.
Where's that?
That's in Bolton, so it's the former police station. It stopped being a police station, I believe, in 2007. It's actually now a college for higher education.
Right. Sorry, Emma, the police station you were in, I mean, you've got Dan, who was a police officer.
Yeah, so
did he work there?
Well, we've been no, he didn't. No, so Dan was based in Yorkshire.
Right.
So he's actually not done that location because he's quite new to the group. So I think it'd be really interesting to get him in there, because I think what could possibly, it could maybe invoke things, and maybe things might be attracted to him because he knows that kind of side of things. I mean, if you've never been to it, I'll try and get you guys to get
That'd
in
be
there
great.
because I know the guy that's the kind of owner of the building, and it's a Grade 2 listed building. It's actually used for filming for Coronation Street, for the trial scenes, because in the actual building there's a courtroom, and that's where they use all the trial scenes, but it still looks like a fully fledged courtroom. And on the old desks there's all graffiti on it, and it dates back to like 1907 and things like that, and it's like the writing is the most beautiful writing I've ever seen. It's like calligraphy. It's absolutely stunning. So there was probably one of the most frightening experiences I've ever had. Now this is the first time we'd ever investigated this building, and it was getting towards the end of the evening, and we'd had some weird things happen. Like we heard a dragging sound that we couldn't really explain, like there was no explaining it at all. So it would have been probably approaching about 5 a.m. and we were in what is called the judge's quarter. So basically it's where the judge kind of prepares himself to like step out onto like the platform to get into the courtroom. So we're all in a circle, and there's a corridor kind of off to the room, and we all had a weird feeling about this corridor. We had to walk through the corridor to get to this room, and everybody was like, I really don't like this. And I was like, I'm not a fan, I'll be honest with you. So we all got through, sat down, did a few kind of like experiments. Nothing was really happening. And then some of the guys use a Ouija board. I'm not really a big fan of them. They're asking questions, and the planchette wasn't moving, but they still continued to ask the questions. And all of a sudden, we heard a disembodied female voice literally go, hello, like that. And I'm not joking, everyone literally had their mouths wide open in complete disbelief. I have never ever experienced anything like that. And I was like, right, don't stop, keep asking the questions. So obviously the girls that were asking the questions, this voice 4 different times, it was like a whimpering sound. And at one point we were like, we need to go and check if there's like somebody else in the building, but the caretaker was like, there is nobody in this building, there is just us. And the caretaker, he was like, I have never ever experienced anything like this, and I've been in this building at 3:30 in the morning on my own. I mean, some people, when I've spoken to people, have said it could have been a voice from outside, and I was like, that voice was in the building. It was in that corridor.
Well, you know when there's a voice, when it's outside and when it's not outside.
Yeah, definitely. And
you know, when you're there and you experience it yourself, you say it's outside. We get it here at Mill Street. we hear voices outside, but you know when it's out there or when it's inside.
Absolutely.
Now the police station, I mean, that's in the police station you were at, wasn't it? How did it feel when you got that voice coming through? And obviously you'd never experienced anything like that before. Did you go home and analyse it? Was it in your head, trying to think about it? Did it happen? Did it not happen?
Yeah.
And obviously you're convinced that it was from another world.
Convinced 100%, because when I spoke to the owner of the building and told him about it, he said, that is so weird that you've said that, because a few of my staff have seen a woman holding a lantern in that part of the building, and then I was told that part of the building is the oldest part of the building.
Right.
So I was like, because we didn't actually see anything, we just heard it, I was like, this is crazy. And I mean, we've been there since, and like a few times nothing's really happened, but then when you go into the cellar, it's a different story, because that's where the cells are, and you just kind of always feel like you're being watched. You feel like you're being looked at from every single angle. There was an apparent suicide that happened in the police station. I don't know much about it, but apparently it was a police officer. That's all I know. I don't really know much more about it, but it's just the dimension of the building. It's there's loads of twists and turns and different doors and staircases. It's quite confusing when you first go. But that voice, and after him saying about the woman, I just think that's definitely something. And I'm just absolutely gutted that our EVPs didn't pick it up. I'm gutted, because we had them rolling and we didn't catch them. And I was like, is it because it was too far away? But to me, it was so loud and clear, and I will never forget. I mean, I was sat opposite Katie, who's one of our original members, and honestly, the look on her face was complete and utterly in disbelief, as or to say,
Yeah.
what the hell was that? And even like one of the guys that used to be in the group, he literally looked like he was going to jump off his chair, as or to say, I'm not staying here now. He actually, because he was the caretaker, he found a load of documents under the judge's chamber that were dated back to like 1897. Like, and the writing again is lovely, and it's about like drunk and disorderly and things like that, you know, like that type of thing. It's really interesting. I think I've still got some of the pictures. I'll have to show them you.
I'd love to see that. When you heard the voice, did just you hear it, or did
every single person in that room heard it? Everyone heard it. Apart from one of the people that had a hearing aid in and it wasn't switched on. But I was like, I can't believe you've missed that. But everyone else heard it.
Well, that's great evidence there, isn't it?
Absolutely. I just wish I'd caught it on EVP. I really do.
So, your group itself, I forgot it already. Paranormal, sorry. Yeah, if you listen to all the other shows, I'm great at forgetting people's names as well. But your group itself, when did you actually start Paranormal? Was that recently, or?
I think it would have been 2017. Maybe, I think it might have been early 2017 it was. Yeah. So it's been 4 years now, coming up to 4 years.
Right, and how did you... Was it you what started it, Emma?
Yeah, so I was in another group, and then I kind of decided, like, to maybe do something on my own, because it's something I've always been interested in from being little. I mean, I was one of these weird kids that would go to the library on a Saturday morning and get books on the paranormal, and like my mum would be like, this isn't normal to my dad, and my dad was like, look, it's her interest, let her just read about it. So I got talking to some friends at work, and they were actually interested in it as well, and I thought, do you know what, this might be a good opportunity to do it. So Sherelle and Katie joined with another girl that's no longer with us, and we just kind of like recruited from there, really. It's just about getting kind of like word of mouth out there. But when you've got someone in your group, you need to be able to trust them, because you don't want somebody in the group that could possibly be faking noises or anything like that, because things like that can happen. Like I've heard of that happening. So the group that we've got now is a really good close-knit group. We're always like throwing ideas out there. I think one of the first investigations we did was an outdoor one at Smithills, funnily enough. We do that quite a lot at Smithills because you can't really get into the actual premises because it's obviously securely locked up, but the grounds are always open. And I'll never forget this. We were literally coming from round the corner onto the grounds, and it was kind of just going dark. It wasn't pitch black, it was like dusk. And I swear I saw what looked like a very thin woman in a long black dress. And it looked like she had like a really big hat on, and it looked like it was tied underneath her chin. And I remember saying to Stuart, one of the guys that were in the group, and I said, did you see that? And he was like, no, I didn't see anything. And it literally, as soon as I saw it, it was as soon as it disappeared. It was just so bizarre. And then we were walking around with the spirit box, and we were walking around where the chapel is, and it said light on, and I was like, what does that mean? And then all of a sudden a security light just came on, literally on demand, straight after it said light on, and I thought, but there was no
one near the security light at all.
Nobody. We weren't anywhere near it. We were like quite a bit further down from it.
Right.
So it wasn't as if it came on directly above us. It was like the next one along, if that made sense. So that was really bizarre. But if there is anyone out there that's kind of in the northwest, I would recommend doing the grounds at Smithills, because it's so interesting, especially after the EVP that we caught of the old car horn on the country lane. That was bizarre. So bizarre. I had all the team round at my house, and we were like reviewing the footage, and it was my husband that actually was like, what was that sound? And my husband doesn't believe in anything to do with the paranormal. And it was literally like an old-fashioned car horn, and it was just, I was like, what? We didn't hear anything like that when we were actually live doing the investigation. So that was really interesting as well. But that's the only bit of EVP that I've ever caught that's a bit like, what was that? And
it's funny because me and Jonathan, we talk about being outside, doing investigation. We go on walkabouts. I mean, some great places around here where we do our walkabouts, and we've had some really good stuff outside. And you think, what's going to happen outside? You've got all the noises of cars, trains, whatever you want. But we've had some fantastic stuff, haven't we, Jonathan?
We have. We've had some really good stuff.
Yeah, I think an EVP recorder is a really good device on an investigation.
Yeah, well, we were talking to you off air about equipment we take and that, or what you take, not what we take. And what we take is like a EVP recorders. We take a K2 and REM pods.
Cat balls.
That's what we're taking. Cat balls, I forgot one. Or as they call them now, spirit balls to make more money out of you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You won't let that one go.
No, I won't let it go because I don't like seeing people ripped off.
No, I don't.
So I'll just make that point of cat balls.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Go for cat balls, not spirit balls.
We don't tend to use the ones that light up. We use the ones with the bells in because then you can hear them. Then you can hear them like to see if they'll go off.
Okay. Yeah, we've never thought about that. That's a good one, Lima.
Yeah. Because they've all got little bells in them.
Yeah, definitely right. They were called spirit bells next week, so just get them quickly.
I'll get them on eBay now.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't like people being ripped off, and it's my little dig at those people who were doing it. But you sorry, I was going to say something. Your group itself, did they all join at the same time? I know some come and some went. You were saying that before. Have you had the ones who are still there now that have been there from day one?
Yeah, so there's two of them. There's Sherelle and Katie.
Right.
And then we've got Gary, who's our tech guy. His wife's in the group as well, Audrey.
Oh, right.
She's a believer, but I think she needs to kind of see a little bit more to really kind of get her head around it, if that makes sense. Yeah. Ross, who is, I think he's a little bit of a skeptic, but again, I think that's good to have in the group.
It is.
Well, we're all skeptics.
Yeah.
Wherever we go, when you go places, you've got to be a skeptic. You can't be 100% believer. Well, you can be a believer, but you've got to have that logical mind to it, because 90% of it, 99% of it is natural things.
Yeah, it's funny. We've got a guy in the group called Jamie, and he left the group because he had like work commitments. But now he's like, oh no, I really want to like get back involved in it because I've seen your lives and it always looks really good and I really miss it. So he's coming to obviously the barracks when we do the investigation. He's really excited. But he's one of these that, oh come on now, get down that lane when we were doing our investigation on Friday, because he was watching it from home, and it was like, go down that country lane because we really don't like this part of like where Smithles is, and he's there on the live commenting, going, go on, get down there. I was like, the last time you were here, you wouldn't walk down this hill or down the lane, so I don't know why you're acting like you're 10 men.
When you do your lives, Emma, do you ever get people wanting to give you a challenge?
To be honest with you, no. I'm really lucky because the followers, well, probably I've just been like maybe sheltered from it a bit, but all the followers that we've got are all really nice, and they're always like, they get involved and they go, oh, like, I get this feeling, ask if there's anybody called this name and things like that, which I like. And I always say to the guys that are watching, like, if you see something, let me know and tell me the time that you've seen it, and then I can review the footage back, because it happened at Castle Street. I said, like, if there's anyone here, can you make a noise? And I knocked on the wall, and as soon as I did that, another 2 knocks happened, and then the dog that was with us, it was a greyhound, it started whimpering and it was freaking out like big time. And then one of the REM pods went off in the corridor upstairs, which is that creepy corridor near the judge's chamber. That was weird. That was really weird.
Well, you might get a couple more people just sending you challenges, mightn't you, Jonathan?
Yeah, I can see it.
If it comes under the name Access
Paranormal,
just if it comes under Access Paranormal Radio Podcast, you might get some challenges.
Bring it on.
Well, it's funny because we always say when we're doing the show, we always say, listen, we are in a haunted building. It's a very haunted building. If you hear anything, let us know. And just so the listeners know, if you heard a cough earlier on in the show, it was Emma's husband having a little bit of a cough, so it's nothing spooky. But then again, if you saw him, it could be, But so if you heard a cough earlier on, it was nothing spooky. So.
Yeah, he's a non-believer.
I thought you were going to say something else then. Yeah. So going back to your group and everything else, how often do you go out? Do you go out monthly, weekly, or whenever you want?
Lockdown has been a bit of a struggle, so we've not really done anything from lockdown. Obviously, when it was slightly eased a little bit earlier on, obviously in the summer, we did one. And then we were meant to do a live on Halloween. But unfortunately, obviously, announcements were made, and I just didn't think it was appropriate, because I didn't want the backlash on social media because I thought if we obviously do something and people are obviously a bit sensitive to it, I didn't want to upset anybody. So we just thought, do you know what? No, instead we'll do a bit of a joint live with a couple of the others in the group. And we obviously did it over video call, and we just kind of talked about our experiences. And I think that seemed to it might have kind of hit the note for people watching. But what I was doing is doing lives on social media and using some of the equipment in my house, because my house, I'm not saying it's haunted, but there's been things that have happened in that house. So somebody's passed away in the house. It wasn't a nice death. It was quite I don't want to say too much because it's obviously a bit, well, let's just say it's quite sensitive what happened. And my cats act really strange around the top of the stairs, and I just think that makes sense. And I've used some of my equipment, and a few of the guys that have watched have gone, like, there's been like weird shadow figures around you, like at the back, and like orbs have been seen in the room that I've been doing it in, because I use the laser grid pen. And people have said when I've used it, there's been like a weird kind of shadow, and I've not been moving, I've been sat still, and there's just been me in the room. And I've seen weird things in our bedroom. Like I walk in up in the middle of the night one night.
I was just going to say it wasn't him, was it?
No. And honestly, I saw a child stood at the side of my bed, and it was just the most bizarre thing, because it was a little boy with like sandy coloured hair, and it looked like he had like a bowl haircut, like that kind of weird shape, like style hair. And it's bizarre. He had like a vest top on, but no trousers on. He just had like little pants on. And I was like, and I know I wasn't asleep. And I remember waking Ian up, and I was like, look, can you see this? And he was like, what? Because obviously he was like half asleep, but he was looking at the wrong side of the bed. He was looking at his side of the bed rather than mine. He was like, no, I think you've just imagined it. But honestly, I know what I saw. But I don't know, because to all my knowledge, there's not been any children that have passed away in our house, and it's only been built in the 60s, and there's only been two previous owners.
Well, you got to remember those. What was there before your houses?
I think from what I can gather, it's all been like farmland and fields and things. So it's just very bizarre, really strange.
And your husband Ian, when obviously you're going live and there's things happening in your house, how does he feel? I mean, obviously you're going to tell him about it. What's his opinion? I've got to hear it.
I mean, I think he just goes. I think because he doesn't believe. I think he believes me, and he believes that I'm seeing what I'm seeing. But he's had experiences where he's like, I can't really explain that. And we've seen the same thing when we were in Scotland. We were in a little hotel, and there was no other people staying in the hotel, and we'd got really friendly with the managers. And there was like, and I take my equipment everywhere with me. When we go anywhere, I take it, if we're staying over somewhere. And they were like, oh, get some of your equipment out, let's do something here. I was like, are you sure? Because you obviously have to live here. And they were like, yeah. Because what had happened is apparently there's a little girl that had been killed in the village. And it's some connection with her family that used to work in the hotel, and people have made the beds, like maids have made the beds, and it looks like a child jumped on the bed after it's been made, like little footprints, and they're all like, I'm telling you, there's something here. So anyway, we were both sat facing the bar area, and it was really late at night, probably 1 o'clock in the morning, and we both saw a head pop up over the bar, like a little head pop up over the bar, and I was like, did you see that? And he was like, yeah. But then he's convinced though still that it wasn't anything. But I was like, we've both seen the same thing, so I don't understand how you can't understand it. But like I said, it's not that he's not dismissive, but he's like, I think there's more to it. He's the more science behind it. I think he looks for the more scientific approach.
I think you've got to think, like we were saying earlier on, you've got to try and think logically all the time, and then when you can't get a real answer to it, then you can start thinking, well, was it paranormal? But I find, we've spoken again, me and Jonathan, about this, where technology now, what you can do with stuff and things like that, it's getting more difficult to prove the paranormal. Yeah. I know all this technology is supposed to make it easier, but it's not. It's making it harder. And I think that's where, it's making us, when we see something, we are starting to think more, was it that? Was it, was it just... we've got technology with lights, cars going past and everything else. And so many things that distract it. Now, because we've been here week after week after week, even in lockdown doing the show, when we've done investigations here, we've had things happening that never happened before because nobody's coming in. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's the same with you. You probably find that when you've gone on your little walkabouts and you know, Smith Hills.
Yeah, Smith Hills Hall.
Yeah. When you go and things like that, it's more active than what it is when it's like being hammered by people.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely is.
Yeah.
So
It is. I spoke to somebody in the paranormal field who's been doing it for a long, long time. And he's worked on one of the most haunted houses in America. It's on Amazon Prime, called The House in Between. So if anyone's ever watched it, well, obviously you'll know how good this documentary film is.
Yeah.
And it's got Steve, I think it's Gonzalez, his name is. He's from TAPS. So he was one of the other lead investigators as well. But I was lucky enough to actually interview John Bullard, who was one of the investigators on this particular project. And
that's on your live show, isn't it?
Yeah, on our Facebook page. And he's a lovely, lovely guy. He's based in Mississippi, so he's like obviously in the deep south, and they don't really believe in the paranormal down there. It's a little bit of a taboo subject, but he's really interested in it. And he made a really good point, and it's really made me think since he said it. He said, the best thing to use is an EVP recorder, because you can't kind of mistake what you catch on there, really.
Yeah.
Because especially if you know that you were just quiet at the time. But then he also said the best thing as well is your eyes and your ears, because they're your senses.
Definitely.
You know if you've heard or seen something. And also you can be in a room, and if you get a sense and a feeling, like when we were in the basement earlier, you had to move away from one of the doorways because you felt that there was someone behind you. And that's your instinct that there's something around you. And I do believe that your own personal kind of like feelings is what you need to kind of trust as well.
Oh, yeah,
right.
yeah. And you know yourself, if you go in someone's house, we've said this before as well, if you go in someone's house and you've had an argument, when you go in, even without them saying, you can be as happy as anything when you go in, you know the atmosphere's changed. So it's the same with the paranormal, isn't it? You know when the atmosphere's changing.
Yeah, it's like the room downstairs in that basement, and obviously I know that you're not that keen on it, but I was a bit reluctant. I went in, but then I couldn't go past a certain point.
Yeah, you wouldn't go right at the back into the little room.
I couldn't even step into it. It was and then there was that weird like heat pocket there, like because it was quite cold down there. Yeah. But then just like a small part of the room just felt really warm. Like I don't know, it was just really odd. Yeah. It's such an interesting building. And
you're coming here as well.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh,
good luck.
Every time the lights were switched off, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to cope with this. But Katie, though, one of the girls in the group, she was like, I'm happy to go anywhere on my own and do a lone vigil. I was like, you are way braver than I am.
Well,
like,
Katie, if you're listening to this, and I'm sure you will, because I'm sure Emma is going to hammer you to listen to this when it comes on, right? You're going to go down the cellar on your own. We're going to give you one of our Tascams. You're going to go down there and you're going to have 10 minutes on your own in the pitch black, and you're going to record it for us. Are you up for that challenge?
I'm sure she will be.
I'd love
She's
to
got
see
to
her
now.
She's so brave, honestly. She's so brave. She's
I'd love to see her face now when she.
I know, she's probably like that.
Yeah.
She's probably biting all the nails and she's just painted.
Don't worry about it, though, because it's not me what's going to get beaten up. It's going to be Emma.
I know.
So I'm not worried.
Yeah.
Yeah, always pass the ball. It was Emma's idea. When we were off Katie, Emma said to ask you. That's got me out of it, hasn't it? Yeah. I've got witnesses as well, haven't I, Jonathan?
You have.
Yeah, so you've got to do it now, Katie.
I know that the team can't wait, though, to come here. They've been so excited. Ever since I've said that I've spoken to you, they were like, I can't believe you've like been lucky enough to get in here. Yeah. Because it's been on our list for ages to do, and we just thought, right, just get it sorted and organised.
I'm looking forward to meeting them all.
Oh, they're fab. They're such a good group of people. They're so lovely. They're honestly just such a nice group of people. Like, obviously, like we're all from different backgrounds, and it's just we all just get on like really well. It's like it's weird. You put a group of people who you would not think would really mix kind of outside on a normal basis. Yeah. But then because we've got this common interest, we just all get on so well. And like everyone's got a really interesting story. Like Gary's had experiences. Yeah. Ross has had some experiences that he can't really understand. Sherelle has in her old house, and Katie definitely has in her house. Because I think an old lady passed away in her house, and there's been like some strange things. But her dad's like, "Don't use any equipment in the house because it freaks me out."
Well, it's funny, Emma. Have you noticed that when you say to someone you're a paranormal investigator, someone has always got an experience to tell you.
Definitely.
Everybody, including your husband.
Well,
so,
this is it. And I would love for him to really, really experience something like, if he'd have been at Castle Street when we heard that woman's voice, I don't think there's any way that he'd be able to go, no.
Emma, if he'd have turned his head the other way when he was in bed, he would have seen a little boy. That would have been it.
Exactly.
Do you get what I mean?
I still can't put my finger on what that was. It was just so bizarre. But like we've done investigations where there's just been like 3 or 4 of us, and we did a farmhouse in Bolton, which was just strange. It's 400 years old, this house, and the owners have been experiencing weird noises, like the doors opening on their own, and the dogs have been very odd with things, and obviously animals are very sensitive, as you know. And we were all in the bedroom, and the couple that owned the house were sat on the bed, and there was like me and 3 other investigators, and Katie was one of them. And I was sat on this stool at the side of the bed. Yeah. And I am not joking. I felt like what sounded like a load of lots of running up behind me, and I've never shut up off a chair so quickly in my life.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, I thought something was going to come up behind me and hit me. Wow. That's the kind of like force that I felt. And even Chris, the guy that owned the house, he was like, I heard something, but I didn't know what it were. And I said it was, and the door was closed. The bedroom door was closed.
Oh my word!
And it was just like, I was like, yeah, this is freaking me out a little bit.
Yeah.
But there's so many places that I'd love to investigate. But obviously, I'm really glad that we're doing this one.
Yeah.
We've obviously got other ones in the pipeline, but we just need to get confirmation. But yeah, 22nd of May, I'm excited.
22nd of May, look at it.
So excited.
It's not far away, is it?
But you know, isn't it great? And I mean, I love seeing the groups. We were talking about the groups and saying it's fantastic, and we're made up because we've got our own group, and we're made up that we know we can get back together and get into other buildings and do investigations. And I can see by your face, the listeners can't, but I mean, she's got the biggest smile on her face, that she's now coming into maybe Mill Street Barracks, but also for other places.
Oh, yeah.
But it's fantastic, isn't it, to see that other groups are finally getting out there, and starting to get back into the buildings. Yeah. Great for the groups, great for the buildings,
the community,
and your sanity.
Stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, this is like one of my major passions. Like, if you say my name to any of my friends and say what's her passion, they'll either say the paranormal or a cats. Do you know what I mean? So, but like my close friends don't really believe in it. They're like, well, I get why you enjoy doing it, but we wouldn't really come on one. And I just think, well, they've experienced some weird things as well that they can't put the finger on, like when we've lived together. But I just think it's been like such a strange 12 months, and obviously people haven't been able to do this, and this is really good for me on a personal level to do these investigations, because we do it every month. We do one a month normally, and obviously 12 months without doing one properly has been so difficult, and it's just I just feel like it's really something that I love doing. We've
been very privileged to be able to come in here every week and do a mini investigation. So we've been very, very lucky that we've been able to do that, and we've been trying to make it like as realistic as we. Well, it is real. You know, we try not to. We don't cut it unless there's swearing, and we just put it out there as it is. And some of the feedback we've had is people have enjoyed the investigations. Especially when we go out and about, and we've been to graveyards, went to Shadley Park just down the road, whichever way it is from here. And if you ever go to a place, that's a good place to go to, Shadley Park, with your group on a ghost walk. You've got, like I said before, you've got the graveyards. So there's a lot out there that people can go on. I mean, it's great now because at the moment you can take 6 with you, can't you? Or you can meet more than 6 now. I don't know when the next rule comes in where you can more.
It's the 17th of May.
Yeah, 17th of May, yeah.
So 17th of May is fantastic. But it's June the 21st is going to be the fantastic one, isn't it? Where we just back to normal.
Back to normal.
Don't know about the masks,
and everywhere.
Yeah. But I mean, I can't wait for you to come here, to be honest with you. I'm really looking forward to meeting you.
Especially after doing the walk around, it's just like, I mean, obviously I've seen it on TV shows and on YouTube, but when you walk into that main hall, it's like, wow, because it's huge and it's just such a gorgeous building, and like all the original features, it's just amazing. Like the history side of it alone is interesting.
Well, it's funny because when we spoke to you, we were arranging all this, and I said, yeah, I'll show you around and everything else, then we'll do a quick interview with you. How long have you been here now? About 3 hours?
7.
Yeah.
I bet my husband's like, I thought you said we'd only be a bit, like not long.
Have I stopped him from going on the beer?
Oh no, he's not a big drinker, so it's alright.
Oh, well, I can't get blamed for that then.
He's not had his tea yet, though.
We have. But no, one last question is, how much are you really looking forward to actually getting out there? I know you're passionate for it and everything else. How do you feel now that you can now get out there and do investigations?
Relieved. Like, if I'm honest, absolutely relieved, because like doing this is such a hobby, and I don't want to say it's a hobby really, it's part of who I am as a person. Like the paranormal's just always been in me. I think I probably get that from my dad's side, because he was really interested in it. And just to be able to do something that's normal, like most people on a Saturday night prefer going out, getting drunk and having a party. I would much rather do this on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
100%. And it's like, it was my 40th the other week, and like my husband was like, what do you want for your birthday? I was like, well, I'd either want some like new paranormal equipment or a metal detector. And he went, what?
It's different, like, isn't it?
Most women would want diamonds or a spa weekend. And I was like, no, a metal detector or some paranormal equipment.
Just enjoy it, Ian. Just enjoy it.
I know. Mind you, some of the equipment's more expensive than a diamond.
I know.
I don't know. But before you go, how can people get in touch with you? Have you got a website? Have you got a Facebook page?
Yeah, so our Facebook page is Paranorthern, so it's para-northern. We're very responsive, so if you send any messages, if you've got any questions about the group, it's me that runs the page, so I'll answer any questions that anyone's got. You can catch up on all our lives that we post on there. We go live on every investigation. We ask a lot of questions because we like getting a bit of feedback and doing a few surveys, to see if people have experienced things and where they've experienced things. And I just think it's good to get that community feel together, because the para community, as I call it,
I like that.
It's like we're all obviously interested in the same things. So I think it's good to get to know people in that field. And I've met some lovely people in the actual page that
like us.
Yeah, well, this is it. This is it. And we've had so many long conversations on the phone, and I think it's nice to meet like-minded people.
Yeah, that's
it. It's important.
It is. So again, just give out where they can get you one more time.
Yep. So it's on Facebook, and it's Paranorthern. So it's para-northern.
Para-northern.
And you'll probably see my face all over the Facebook page because I'm always posting pictures.
But don't let that put you off.
Yeah. Especially when I've no makeup on.
Listen, if they can put up with my face on anything, they can put up with anyone's. Don't worry about it. And that's not an offensive.
No, not taken.
It's as if it's Jonathan's. It's all right, we're like this all the time. But Emma, thank you so much for coming in tonight, and really enjoyed the interview.
Thank you for
having me. It's a chat.
Me.
It wasn't an interview. It was a chat, wasn't it?
It was good.
And will you come back on again?
Oh, absolutely.
On May the 22nd.
Absolutely.
And we'll get some of your group on as well.
Oh yeah, they'd love it. They would love it.
Brilliant. Well, if they're all as nice as you, it'll be a fantastic interview.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks so much for having me.
Oh, you're welcome, and thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
So, Jonathan, how nice was Emma there, eh?
Well, I think you called me M&M.
I know. I couldn't resist that. The pack of M&Ms while I'm like trying to do the interview.
Hello, yeah.
For talking to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Emma there, Emma Flood from Northern Paranormal. Such a lovely person as well, and I can't believe she's been like doing. Her experience is 15 years of paranormal experience.
I know, yeah.
So that was really good.
Yeah.
So she knows what she's talking about.
Yeah.
And she's got 9 in the group.
Mm-hmm.
And the group's been going for 4 years.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what though, I wouldn't mind having an investigation with them. I think that'd be really good to experience.
It would be brilliant, wouldn't it?
To see how other groups work.
Yeah, that's it. And that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what? I can't believe she's never been to Mill Street Barracks.
No.
Bolton's only up the road.
Well, there's a couple like that. There's next week's interview with Brent and Emma. They've never been here, so it's nice to get a fresh, kind of view on it. Whereas some groups have been here quite a lot. It's nice to get like a fresh face in, and
that's right.
See, we always call them fresh meat because they've never been here before. But no, it was nice. It was nice having Emma here and talking to her. And the husband was here, but Ian, he was quiet in the background. Well, he did make a little bit of a noise, didn't he? Yeah. Sorry, Ian. I had to mention it. But as I said earlier on as well, Emma's going to be coming on about every 6 weeks, something like that.
Right, brilliant.
So we'll be keeping up with her now. We hear how she's getting on and things.
Yeah.
So brilliant. Can't wait to talk to her again.
Yeah.
If you've never met Emma, if you meet her, you'll find her a really, really, really nice person.
Yeah, that's right.
Very, very cheerful as well.
That's
what I liked about her.
Yeah, positive.
Yeah. Jonathan, that door behind or you?
Yeah.
Just opened. I'm sure that the same thing happened last week. Just as I'm talking to you, then I've actually seen it move and open.
Glad I'm facing this way away from it.
Yeah, when you said about me sitting here and opening the door and when we get the Wi-Fi in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Second thoughts?
I'm not looking behind me.
Yeah, so Emma, thank you for coming in, and thank you, for spending time with us and having a good chat. I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to the next time you're in, along with your team. Now, we're going to be talking about SLS cameras. My explanation of SLS cameras, Jonathan, is the little stick men. I think it started off with the game, the Xboxes and things like that. Kind of things. You know more about it than I do.
I mean,
I'm not electronically minded.
I've built my own SLS cameras. Seeing it. I'm just using the Xbox Connect camera. And a tablet. Just like a 10-inch Windows. It's got to be a Windows tablet. They're easy to make. They're cheap enough. You get the best cheap. But recently, I've seen a video on YouTube. And I've also seen articles about this on Facebook and different groups about the use of a SLS camera. And saying that it's not real and that we shouldn't be using it in the paranormal.
Well, just for listeners, I mean, give a little bit of explanation of the SLS, because they're quite in the forefront of the investigations now, aren't they? You see it everywhere now.
Everybody uses them. So
you get the apps.
Yeah. Well, it basically uses the camera from the Xbox, the Xbox 360 Connect, which is the camera, which you use for the motion games, like playing tennis, where it tracks your motion, if you like. That's what it actually does. That's what it was actually made for. And it fires lasers out of that camera. And that's how it maps where you are. So it's called 3D. It gives it a 3D depth with the lasers that come out of it. And that's how it tracks your body movements. It'll track all your joints, which is why you get a stickman.
Yeah.
So it'll get your head, your shoulders, your elbows, your wrists, your knees, your feet. And so you get that stickman effect.
Right.
So it's become apparent that there's lots of people posting videos and pictures of their SLS cameras with the stickman going crazy and breakdancing, as they call it. And they're now saying that this is just an absolute glitch.
Right.
Because the Xbox Connect specifically says that camera must be kept still and steady. When you use it with an Xbox, you don't move it round. it sits either on top of your TV or under your TV, and it's got to specifically be kept still and in a wide open space.
So really, if you're doing an investigation and using an SLS,
they're always portable.
Yeah, they're walking around with them, aren't they? Whereas what you're saying is really, for it to work properly, is to put it on a table or put it on a stand or something, and let it just stand there. Now, would if something was out there, paranormal wise, would it pick it up?
Who's to say? I don't know. I mean, I've used it myself. Do you know what I mean? I built one. I've used it myself. I've got things myself on it.
Yeah.
Is it real or isn't it? I don't know.
Well,
know.
It actually puts doubt into your head, doesn't it? Because if you think about anything electronic, you can find faults within. This is one with the SLS. Yeah. I've always never been sure of them. Me and you both downloaded the app. There's an app out there, isn't there?
I was going to come to this. When we downloaded that app, and it works in exactly the same way as the SLS camera does. And it doesn't cost a single penny to download that app.
No.
It works exactly the same. And I also believe that there's a Snapchat filter that works exactly the same with your Stickman.
Well,
so...
What I was going to say is we used it, didn't we?
We did.
On one of the investigations. What we did here. And we actually put the SLS camera on the phone, the app.
Yeah.
And we actually had it against a bottle of water.
Yeah.
And the bottle of water ended up with the stickman sitting on the top of it.
Yeah. But you also remember, is when we were in Mill Street, when we first downloaded it, and I was standing just inside the hallway by the barrel.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was just pointing my phone just into the hall, and I got a stickman by the barrel.
That's right.
And I said to you, look at this. It was in the same place every time. And then you tried your phone, and it wasn't there, was it?
Got nothing with it.
So I tried my phone again, exactly the same place, and I got it.
Still there, yeah.
And it was actually picking up. You sussed it out. It was actually picking up off the window frame.
That's right, yeah.
But that window frame, how many feet is that away?
It was halfway across the room, wasn't it, really? Cause
good 20 foot, 30 foot?
Must have been more, yeah. Yeah.
And it's picking up a window frame.
And it looked like a figure.
It did, but it looked like it was like 5 foot in front of us.
Right in front of us, yeah. So, in a way, these SLS cameras, it's good fun and everything else.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
See, now it did, after seeing what we were doing last week with it, and, testing the SLS things and that, on my phone I couldn't get it. On your phone you could.
Yeah.
So to me that puts doubt in my mind that these even though it's on a phone, they weren't any use to me. I mean, I've deleted the app because I just thought it was a waste of space.
Yeah.
No disrespect to the people who made the app. I mean, we haven't mentioned the app anyway, but no disrespect to them or anything like that. I just found it, it was wasting me battery. It wasn't doing what it's supposed to do, so I got rid of it. And there's a lot of people out there who use SLS. Now, there might be somebody out there who says, hey, we've had some good evidence of the SLS. Contact us and let us know where, how, we'd be interested in that. Yeah. But you see it on TV. You see the SLS is being used on the TV.
You do. But
all the time. And again, they're walking around with them, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, I've used it at home. I've used it down in the cellar. I used to use it with my laptop. Connected it up to my laptop itself in the cellar. And if any object, it'll pick up and it will try and map a stickman figure out.
Yeah.
And this is what they're saying about the breakdancing, where they're getting these figures and the legs are going up and down.
And the
arms, the arms are waving crazily, and then people are saying, "Oh, the spirit's waving at us." It's not. It's picking up on an object or a pattern on a wall, even.
Yeah.
And the reason that it starts going crazy is because the camera and all the lasers are struggling to try and map a figure out. And that's why it's going crazy.
So the best way to use it, instead of walking around with it, is to have it still
Yeah, but still. And if
something
works,
comes into because once it's still,
yeah,
them lasers are going to be permanently perfect, aren't they?
That's it.
So if anything does walk into it and turns into a stick man, then it could be interesting.
Yeah.
So we're basically using this DSLS is completely wrong.
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
So it'd be worth anybody out there who's listening, if you've got an SLS camera, try it. Put it on a tripod or stand it up or make it still. And if it works, let us know. You know, we're not disregarding the SLSs.
No.
We just seem to be using them wrong.
Yeah, I would never ever do that. And I don't know. Do I believe it works or don't believe it works? I don't know.
No, it's like anything, isn't it?
But I'll try it.
Trial and error.
It is, yeah. And I mean, if there's something out there and it can be made cheaper than what you can buy it for, I'll do it.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know?
Definitely.
You know, and it can be done.
Well,
if these apps are the same.
Well, let's mention the app because it'd be interesting if people download this app and try the app.
Yeah.
Now, the app is just called Ghost Tube SLS.
Yeah.
Now it's like a black circle or whatever you want to call it. It looks like one of those old. It looks like a Pac-Man ghost, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So you know, try it. There are other ones out there. There are other SLSs out there.
Yeah,
if anybody wants to try them and let us know what they're like, brilliant. But that's the one we've used. We haven't had a chance to use the other ones yet.
Yeah.
Sadly, I deleted it, but I'm quite prepared to put it back on again if people prove us wrong or want to, show us that it works good.
See, the only thing for me with that, it works because we've actually stood in front of it, haven't we? And you can map things out, and it maps objects out as well, which the Xbox SLS does.
Yeah.
The only thing for me, the phones don't have lasers shooting up the front of them.
You're just using a light.
Yeah, but it can still pick you up as a stick figure.
Yeah, and it was picking up. There was Marie, Lee, me, and you, and I went round with mine, and it was picking you up quite. And you moved your arm, and it was going with your arm.
It works in exactly the same way.
Yeah, it was only when it hit the bottle, and you saw like a little person sitting on the bottle.
That's right. Yeah,
and you think, well, where's it picking that up from? No, I said to you, didn't I? Is that not the reflection of one of us in the bottle? Because we had water in the bottle at the time, so.
Or it could be a reflection from the water in the bottle, whatever's in the bottle, reflecting back.
Yeah. So we're not disregarding it altogether.
No.
I mean, that's the view what we've seen, and the view of somebody on YouTube as well. And going on to something else now, Jonathan. But before we go, if anybody does try the SLS, please let us know what you think of it and how you tried it and that. Let's move on to table tipping.
Table tipping. Ooh.
Yeah, it's a completely different thing, isn't it?
Completely. I mean, we've had a little bit of experience.
Well, we have. I mean, we've been going now. Wild Goose been going 10 years, 11 years.
Yeah.
11 years now.
Yeah.
And we don't do a lot of table tipping.
No,
when we have, nothing's ever happened apart from once.
Yeah. The one big one. Yeah.
And that one big one was, it must be 4 or 5 years ago now.
Yeah, it must be.
Approximately. And we were in a room. There was a heavy table in there. Small table, because it was a classroom. It was a small table. Pretty heavy table.
Yeah.
And we were doing the investigation and everything else. And I've never believed in all this. I've always thought, anyone could be doing this. Anyone could be doing that.
Yeah.
I've got to see for myself. And that night I did.
Yeah.
And what happened was a few of them had their hands on the table, just lying on top of the table. There was a K2 on the table. And there was a glass on the table.
Yeah.
And we asked it to move. We asked it to do this. We asked it to do that. And I stepped away from it. And sadly, Bill, who's with us, sadly Bill's passed away now. He loved his cameras and everything else. And Bill was filming everything. And just before things happened, I said to Bill, do us a favour, Bill. Just turn your camera off because the light is distracting. Yeah. And he turned it off. And as everybody who knows the paranormal world, you turn the camera off, something always happens.
It does, doesn't it?
It's guaranteed something always happens. And this night, that's what happened.
Yeah.
Bill turned the camera off. Lo and behold, doing the table tipping, table must have tilted 70 degrees.
Easy.
60, 70 degrees.
Yeah.
So I said to everybody, can you all get off the table? Just move away from the table now.
Yeah.
Now, I thought the table would go bang.
Well, do you know what I did? Because I was on the table.
Yeah. It didn't.
No.
It stayed on that angle.
Yeah.
And the strangest thing, and you were there, Jonathan,
Yeah.
was the K2 and the glass never moved.
It never moved.
It was
didn't
still as anything on that table.
Yeah.
Now, the angle it was on, you'd have thought they'd have fallen to the floor. They didn't.
It was being impossible for them to stay there like that.
No. And to this day, I tell people that story when they're coming around the barracks.
Yeah.
And to this day, I still cannot get my head around that.
No.
And we were all away. We must have all been about 2-3 foot away. There was not a single person on that table.
Yeah.
The table was tilted on its own.
Mm-hmm.
Then I said to it, can you put the table down, please?
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, we weren't frightened or nothing like that. I just said, can you put the table down, please?
Mm.
The table didn't go down with a crash.
You never know.
It went down gently,
Yeah,
as if someone was putting the table down.
that's right.
Still can't explain it.
No.
And it's still fresh in my mind as to what happened.
Yeah.
Never seen it before it happened. I've never seen it since.
Again, no.
It's one of those 1 in a million chances of it happening.
I think it is. It just can't. He just can't really explain how, and it just can't be debunked.
No.
But there was only some of our own group there, wasn't there?
Mm.
And
You know,
a trust of people.
well, yeah, we trust each other
Yeah.
explicitly 100%.
Yeah.
But you'd always have doubt with a table if it tilts. You always have that thought, oh, we were all on it, we could have lifted it and that.
Yeah.
No one was on that table.
one was
we
on
were
it, no.
all, I'd say 2 foot away from it.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit more because we
Yeah.
all moved right away from it.
That's right.
And it was still on that angle.
Yeah.
We kick ourselves now because sadly, I asked Bill to turn his camera off.
I know.
We didn't have any photographs of it.
No.
We just
Nothing.
know what we saw.
Yeah.
And we have to, you know. And now that room
Well.
still gives us the EBGBs, doesn't it?
It
It's
does.
still scary. I mean,
Yeah.
previous investigations, which we've had on the radio show,
Yeah.
we've been in that room, we've had shadows, we've been nervous in there.
Yeah.
And it's only a small room.
It is. It's not very big when you think about it, is
no.
it?
So, you know, it's a room which, if you're going to come in and do a table tipping, give it a go in there.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
I'm always like, some of the tables where we've done table tipping have been very rickety. Or
Yeah.
very light or
Yeah.
on uneven floors.
Yeah.
And that's where I get me doubts from.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
It's good. And it's
It
one
is.
I mean, like I said about the SLS, I would never dispose of it and get rid of it
Mm.
altogether. What I would do is I'd make sure that the table was sturdy.
Yeah.
You know, if we're going to put our hands on it, we put our full hands on it.
Mm.
If the table moves, we all take our hands off one by one.
Yeah. Well, do you know,
Then we all take them off together.
the tables in that, I mean, still the same tables in that classroom now.
Mm.
The legs are actually angled outwards.
Mm.
So that makes the table more difficult.
To lift.
Yeah.
And the very, very heavy
And
tables.
they are heavy tables.
So any groups will come here, you know, go
Mhm.
into the classroom and have a go at it. Just have a
Yeah.
go at it and see what happens. It may never happen again.
It might not.
But the funny thing is that night when we done that table tipping,
Hmm.
we went into the cellar. And if you remember, we asked it to follow us into the cellar. And when we were in the cellar, we had that table move on its own before we even got anywhere near it.
Oh,
In the middle room.
Yeah, that's right.
There,
yeah.
there was a red table. It's been there
Yeah.
for years now. I think they've moved them all now because they've been doing a big clear out. Now that table moved. Before we even got into the room, it
Yeah.
was you heard it and seen
Yeah.
it move.
I remember.
And I remember asking whatever was up there to follow us down to the cellar and could they move the table,
Yeah.
and it did.
It's
You know, so
just shows you, doesn't it?
yeah, they're two really good experiences we've had. But
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen it where I've been very doubtful on it. And
Yeah, well, it is one of them things, though, isn't it?
Mm.
It's like I think it's the same as a Ouija board. It could be unknowingly, if you know what I mean. Like you can unknowingly move a glass on a Ouija board.
Yeah, I mean, if you're nervous and you've got a little bit of a shake, or if you hold them long enough, your hand starts to shake or
That's
get
right,
achy. You only have to move your arm, or
you've only got to move a little bit, and
that glass
that will move.
or the planchette will move.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
But the good thing with table tipping is if it does tip, you move away. If it drops to the ground, then you can think, well, hold on,
Yeah.
I'm not saying anybody will.
No.
I'm not going to point fingers or anything like that, because it's respect to everybody. The only thing I do ask is, if you're going to do it, use a sturdy table. I've seen tables and them like £5 ones, which are like tables, and if you blow on them, they'll move from side to side.
That's it.
But anyway, we'll carry on this conversation after the next investigation, because our investigation's coming up now, or the first part of our investigation, over in the dormitories here in Mill Street Barracks, the bedrooms, which we've never really done for a few years.
Yeah.
Let's go across there now, and this is what happened when we done our investigation. What we've done for tonight, Jonathan, is we've come up to the dormitories, or the bedrooms, which we've not done for a long time.
Nah, I've not been up here for, must be over a year.
I know, more. Because obviously it's been locked down as well, but even before then, we never ever do this section, do we?
No.
We always tend to do the cellars.
I think more so as well, since it's all been refurbished up here, isn't it?
Yeah. But where we are is we're in the top room.
Yeah.
In the top bedroom. Now, quite a few years ago, I can't say how many, we actually got a photograph of a pair of feet in this room.
And do you know what? Right where I'm standing.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So what we'll do is we'll do a call out in here. We've got the cat ball at the door.
Yeah.
So if the cat ball goes off, we are knackered.
Because there's nowhere else to go, is there?
Sorry?
There's nowhere to go.
No. But it's going to be a bit of fun. We're going to go from room to room. We might even go in that classroom, Jonathan, if nothing goes on here.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's only there.
Yeah, it's only there, I think.
So, let me just give a call. Do you know what? You're standing up. I'm going to sit on this chair.
Yeah, go on. I brought a chair up for the elderly.
Yeah, so I nicked it instead. Okay, I'm going to ask if there's anybody here with us. If the girl who usually stands in this room can come forward, we'd love to speak to you. We haven't been for a while. We haven't been up this end for a while. So if you can, and you want to, can you come forward, please? If there are any children here, if you can see the little ball up near the door, if you push it, it'll come on. Can you talk to us? Come and say hello.
Come and walk up the stairs. Come up the stairs and come in and see us.
Are you around? Can you tell us your name? I know what it is, and it starts with L. But can you say your name? Can you come up to this room and talk to us? You've got only me and Jonathan here.
Come on, don't be afraid. Don't mean you any harm. I'm just here to talk to you. Come forward.
It's weird the way if you look at the window, how the shadows of the trees were on the window.
Yeah.
It's kind of spooky, that. I'm going to ask if you're here with us now, please show yourself if you can. Can you knock? Can you copy me? Can you copy that? Tell you a quick story, Jonathan, while it's quite calm.
Yeah.
And for the listeners as well. This room we're in, when you come into Mill Street Barracks, it's the bedroom area, and you come up the stairs into the very, very top room. And although we had the photograph of the feet, we've done a ghost hunt one time on an investigation, and I brought a couple of people up here, and they were standing towards where the radiator is in the room, and I took one of them to one side and said, I'm going to tell you the name of the girl, and I whispered the girl's name. Nobody else could hear it, and nobody could hear it, right?
Yeah.
She went back over there. These two had never been on an investigation before, skeptic and everything else. And as we were doing the call outs and everything else, I said, look, if you see anything, or you feel anything, or you picture anything, let me know. Don't be afraid to be a description or anything like that. Well, this woman started, and she was saying, I'm getting a picture of a little girl this size, with a white pinafore on, or one of them white dresses.
Yeah.
And said, I can see her hair was longish, but curly-ish.
Oh, right, yeah.
She was given a full description of this little girl, and then she turned around and she said, I'm getting this name. And she gave the name as well. I won't say it just yet, just in case she speaks. And the fella was gobsmacked, because none of them knew anything about this room, never knew anything about the girl's name, because it was only that one person who had took out. I didn't keep him in the room, I took him outside, pulled him back in, and I was with them all the time, and there was no way they would have said anything to each other.
Well, it's not widely known either, is it? Because I don't even think I remember it.
No. Church bells.
Yeah, it's not on the, you can't look that up on the internet because it's not there.
Maybe the bells. 10 o'clock, I think that's it. But I'm going to ask if the little girl's here. Well, you're not a little girl, are you? You're a bit older than a little girl. If you can come forward, let us know you're around. Please don't be afraid of us. We won't do you any harm. Do you want to come and talk to us? Let us know you're here. Can you do something? Show us you're around. Come and talk to us.
Do we think the legs in the picture,
Yeah.
the feet,
The feet, yeah.
do you think they were of that girl?
It's a difficult one to say, but I mean, when you've seen the photograph, we've all seen the photograph.
I mean, I was here on the night it was taken.
Yeah.
And I remember it. I remember seeing it.
And just so the listeners know, that photograph wasn't taken by me or you, it was taken by someone who was actually in the investigation.
Yeah.
And all she done, she walked in the room, she took a couple of photographs, she wasn't even in 30 seconds, went back out again, said, I'm going to delete some of these photographs, there's loads of them on there, and that's when she come across the pair of feet.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And when you look at the feet, they're dirty as well, aren't they? Or not clean.
I mean, that's what discounts it from being anyone that was on the investigation as well, because there was no socks, or they were just bare, weren't they, bare feet.
Yeah. And if you remember on the night, we even tried to take our shoes and socks off in that time, and it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is when we look back, I think we came back the next day, and we worked out where I was sitting, where the feet were shown.
Yeah.
On the picture was the same frame, what was in the box, as what was where the feet were.
That's right.
And where the feet were, we'd have seen someone who, if they'd have been real, we would have seen them, because they were standing between the window and where you're standing now.
That's
It
right.
looks like the fire.
It looked like it's like a chimney breast.
Chimney breast. Isn't it? So it was in that corner there, in that section where the feet were.
Yeah.
And there was no way she could have hidden.
No.
It was like she was trying to show herself. Which was brilliant.
Yeah, it was really good.
And the only other strange thing we ever had was the one down in the cellar where we got the wet footprints.
That's right, yeah.
And there was no way in a million years any of us done that, because you could actually see
You could see the toes.
the toes. Yeah.
Again, you'd have to be in bare feet.
Yeah.
And there wasn't that many of us there.
And you want to be in bare feet in the cellar.
No chance I'd take my shoes or socks off down there.
No.
It's too cold. Too dirty as well, I think.
I'm going to ask again, if you're here and you can see us, would you like to come forward and come and talk to us? Let us know you're here. You're able to come and show us that you're around? Is this your room, or was this your room? Is this where you feel safe and comfortable? Are you able to talk to us? If you stand here, where I'm pointing, and you talk, we might be able to pick up your voice. If we can't hear, we may just pick it up, because the item, what's on there, hopefully will record your voice. Have you got anything you want to say? Can you show us you're here? Make a sound. You've only got me, Jamie, and you've got Jonathan. There's nobody else around, no one in the building. Are you able to copy me? Go.
It's very calm, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. Should we move into the other bedroom as we're going along?
Yeah.
Just down the stairs.
Yeah,
You grab the cat ball, and we'll move into that other bedroom. Works now. You've got all of it, doesn't it? So what we're going to do now is what we're going to be doing is working down each bedroom, see if we can pick anything up. Now the strange thing is for me, Jonathan, is, as everybody knows, my dad was based here.
Oh yeah.
And I'm always thinking, which one of these did he stay in? I mean, obviously I don't think he stayed in the top one.
Yeah.
Because it's so small, isn't it? But
there's
so
only
it's either
three,
this one or that one there.
Or that one, yeah.
And
That's the biggest one, isn't it?
Yeah. But I'm always guided to that one. I'm always drawn to that one. So
Yeah.
you know, because these are only small.
Yeah,
then again,
really, aren't they?
yeah, but then again,
Don't know what I mean.
you know, the
Six
beds.
small, but
Yeah. They're in the army, aren't they?
That's in here, isn't it?
That's me just putting the task cam onto the bed. That's handy. Very handy. That's very handy, isn't it? So anyway, sorry, what we're doing now is we're just checking places, just being nosy, really, aren't we?
Yeah.
Something on that. Oh, I forgot I had a bunk bed. Yeah. Have you put the ball down? Look at the ball, look at the ball.
Yeah, I just put it there.
Oh, right. So it was you.
Yeah, it was me. Yeah.
That's alright then. What we have to do, Jonathan, is just check these beds are alright.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're alright.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's handy.
All good. All
Huh?
good.
Right, lights out. I thought that had gone off. I didn't realise you'd put it down then.
Yeah, that goes down, yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to ask you if there's anybody here with us now. Could you come forward? Did you stay in this part of the building? Did you reside here? Show us that you're around. This feels like a colder room than the one upstairs.
It does, doesn't it?
Huh?
I know it's a little bit bigger, but...
I was checking the windows weren't open then.
No, the windows aren't open, are they?
Are you able to talk to us? So I'm going to sit on the floor, Jonathan. The reason why I'm going to sit on the floor is if there are kids, you might have to give me a hand up, man.
But when you get me up?
That was the two of us. I'm going to ask if there's anybody here with us now. Oh my God.
Oh.
I know, it looks like we're here for the night.
Sure,
Jonathan, 'cause you're not going to get up.
Still be here tomorrow.
I know, yeah. We'll ring Debbie and go, Debbie, can you give us a hand? But we can't get up off the floor.
Come on, come in and see us.
Is this where you slept? Was this one of your rooms? Which one was your bed, or did you just move around? Did you go on parade in the garden? In the garden? On the parade mess at the back? If I use the correct terminology there, I don't know.
Parade ground?
Parade, yeah.
Parade, yeah. Your yard. Parade yard. Come on, come forward. Come and speak to us.
Walk down the stairs if you want, walk past us. Come and say hello.
Have a roll the ball out to you. God, nearly it's heart sack then.
Why?
Because I thought that ball had gone. I couldn't see it. If I roll the ball out into the hallway, can you roll it back to us? So it's all got nice flashy lights on it. So I'm going to roll it out. So when it stops flashing, now, can you roll it back?
Imagine if that come flying back in.
On top of one of them beds.
We'd do a Bad Ben special, wouldn't we? What the beep 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 beep.
Come on, you can see I've just rolled the ball out. Just onto that little landing. So if you can see it, do you want to roll it back? Gently.
Gently. Pretty please.
And if you do that, I'll roll it back to you again.
Gently.
Got to say gently because of the way I'm sitting.
I know. You wouldn't be able to get up, would we? Imagine us trying to do a runner, we'd be like,
And sure you'd be alright with your Zimmer there, wouldn't you? Yeah.
Speak for yourself, Sullivan.
Come on, come up or down them stairs. And roll the ball into the room. You see all the flashing lights.
Or just move the ball if you want. Try and get it to flash. Strange, isn't it, doing an investigation in the wee.
It's just very strange, isn't it?
Yeah. Going to ask again if there's somebody here with us now. If the little girl's around, come and say hello. There's a little ball, if you can move it or push it, it'll light up all different colours. Or if there are any children, or if there's any adults who want to do it, that's fine. If that's what your way of communicating, we'd love to do that. Tell you what, Jonathan, it's cold. Very cold in here.
It is really cold, isn't
Oh,
it?
we've got us our what is it? Our jackets on.
Yeah.
A nice new jacket, actually.
I
I'm
know.
going to have to get up, Jonathan.
Yeah. Oh my word.
Let's see.
Get up.
I'm up, and you call me old.
Hello.
Right, so we try the other bedroom,
Yeah.
and then if we get nothing there as well, we'll go into our classroom, which we
Yeah.
enjoy going into.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Jamie.
No,
I'm only kidding.
Hey?
I'm only kidding.
Yeah, you missed a step then.
Did it?
Yeah. We keep finding things, don't we? Unusual objects. Like, what's that there? Is that Dracula's tower or something?
Yeah, it looks like Dracula's castle or something, doesn't it?
Why is there tissue on the window ledge? Right, let's sit down
Yeah,
again.
pass on that one.
Okay.
Right. I'm going to put the ball over here. I'll tell you what. I'm going to sit here.
Yeah.
I'm going to put the ball up between us.
Now, the funny thing is,
Yeah, watch it. I've just done that myself.
I've done that time. The funny thing is, oh my god, you got to fold over into two, haven't you?
I know, yeah. These are old beds.
They are. You can tell by the
Are they
shape
the
of
original ones, do you think?
I don't know. Do you know what they might be, mightn't they? Solid though. Good ones. That one you're lying on, you're sitting on there, sorry, is. I slept here on my own, as you remember.
That's right, yeah.
And that was the bed I slept on. And just sitting on this, just to relax for a minute. I shut the door. As you can see, it doesn't shut properly.
Yeah.
I was lying there in me sleeping bag. So even if I wanted to run, Jonathan, not a cat and mouse chance of running, right?
You had to get out first.
And anyway, I get woken up to this, the door. Opening. And thankfully, I was just like this. You know, and I'm lying there going, oh my god. The door's open. Just thinking it, you know, I'm not saying it. The next minute, hi Jamie. Have you got your keys for your car? Because you blocked one of the doors. And I went, oh, thank God for that. Gave him my keys, and I was like, oh. But yeah, I slept well. That's
Really?
one thing I did do. Is I slept really well. Yeah, but I was tired. We'd done a ghost hunt that night.
Yeah.
And we'd done the fair what usually goes on here.
That's right, yeah.
Then I'd done the ghost hunt in the evening.
Yeah.
So I was shattered, and the next day I was in here anyway for the next thing. So I just got on there and went to sleep.
Yeah.
I was just so tired I didn't even think about anything. And
It was like a long weekend, that one, wasn't it?
yeah,
I remember.
I was done in.
Yeah.
I nearly done him when that door opened as well.
I'm not surprised.
So I've slept in Mill Street Barracks on my own 3 times now. One in here, one in the main hall, and one on the balcony where the studio is. Don't know how I did it.
Me neither.
Well, I do. I was knackered, absolutely shattered.
Brave.
Sorry?
Brave.
No, just mad.
Or stupid.
Yeah, definitely stupid. Yeah. But it's funny because, like, as I was saying before, this is like the area where my dad would have stayed.
Yeah, it's
My mum would have sneaked in.
It'd be interesting to know which one it actually would have been.
And were these bunk beds, or were these the ones where they had them over the other side? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, these do look. You don't see that anymore, do you?
No, the wire springs.
With the wire and the springs. These have got to be. So there's got to be some age in these beds.
Oh, but they're still as solid as the day you bought them.
Yeah,
They're fantastic.
they are.
Yeah, I would like to see these being thrown out because they're just like the history, aren't they?
Do you know what they remind you of? When you see programs on the TV where they have like the army barracks, they're like the American ones, where they have the rooms and you've got like loads and loads of beds in.
Yeah.
They do look like them.
Do you know what?
They do look like that type of bed.
What I want to do is get an angled shot. It's kind of creepy that, but it's a good one. Though. Let's get it from that angle there. Sorry, I'm just taking a picture because that's what I do. The listeners are going, he's taking a picture right in the middle of the show. Yep. But you've got to do that. I'm going to call out in a minute. It's just that we thought we'd tell you a little bit of, you know, what happened and how I slept here at that time. Totally insane.
Do you know, is it me? Or is that bed especially long? Or is it just me?
I think it's the angle, you don't know, they're the same. So they're identical. You should have gone to that. Ow, I've done it again. Fuck me head.
Headbang ya.
Right, okay, come on, let's do a call.
Yeah. We'll go lights out.
Why do I have to look out the window door? Wow, it's darker in here than in the other ones.
Oh my word, I can't even. Yeah.
I'm going to ask if there's anybody here with us now in this room. Could you let us know you're around? Could you open the door? Show us you're in here, please. Were you one of the soldiers that stayed here? I can imagine you staying in these rooms and having a laugh with your friends. Who you trained with. Were these good memories for you? Were you on parade at the back? Did you train here? Were you based here? If you could show some kind of lights or make a sound. Could you talk to us? Could you tell us your name? What rank you were? Your number? Thought you heard something. Were you one of the people who... Did you go to war? Were you one of those people who went and returned to this building?
Well, come and say hello to us. Did you have parties in here?
Were you one of the men who sneaked the ladies into the building? I know my dad did. My dad used to bring my mum in here. Were you based here in the 1950s? Jonathan, that was the first part of our dormitories investigation.
Yeah, and I want to just point out something, Jamie.
Yeah, what was that?
Well, you mentioned about the voice earlier on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's next week.
Oh, it's one of those nights tonight, isn't it?
I know.
You got caught with the M&Ms and I've got caught doing the mistake. I've just whacked my hand. But yeah, it's next week. So anybody who was listening for this week for that sound, I do apologise. But tune in next week.
Yeah.
Because it'll be on next week, so I can guarantee that for 100%.
Yeah. It'll be on the beginning of it as well.
And do you know what, Jonathan? If anybody does hear it, if they want to contact us, even to get on the show, to be interviewed, they can contact us on I forgot what I was going to say now. You can contact us by email on info.accessparanormal@gmail.com or on our Instagram account, which is Access Paranormal Radio Podcast. In our Twitter page, Access Paranormal 1. Facebook, Access Paranormal Radio Podcast.
Yeah.
Or through Access Paranormal 01.
Yeah.
That's the Facebook one. And just keep going to our YouTube channel. Please go and tune in. And whatever you can, whenever you can, subscribe. Or we will find you.
Yeah.
Yeah, just subscribe, please.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's our little bit of an advertisement for our group, so I can put that away.
Yeah.
Sorted. Going back to our conversation, yes, I do apologise that I got it wrong and it's on next week's instead.
It is, yeah.
And going back, I mean, we talked about SLSs. We talked about the table tipping. The next one, which is a sore point to me, and I don't like it, and people use it, and I'm not going to say nothing bad about it, but I can't stand it. I don't think it works, is the human pendulum. I mean, to me, you think of a human pendulum, you think of someone hanging from a rope upside down, being swung on, don't you? And then asking questions, move to the left, move to the right, because we all know what a pendulum is. It's a crystal on a bit of a chain, and
that's right.
You can ask questions. But a human pendulum, what's your thoughts on that?
My thoughts, I've done it a few times. Different groups. Do I believe in it? I don't think I do, really, to be honest. I think... I mean, I've seen a few different versions of it done. I've seen one where the person stands in the middle, two people in one person in front, one person behind. Yeah. He asks the questions, and it's like forward for yes and backwards for no. And obviously then people are there to catch the person in the middle.
Yeah.
I think if you're going to be stood there with your eyes closed like that, in that sort of situation, I think you're more than likely to move backwards or forwards anyway, to be honest.
Well, you rock anyway, don't you?
You do.
I mean, if you stand still enough, you do tend to rock and everything else.
You do.
I mean, I've seen the human pendulums, and I'm not going to say or disrespect anyone. No. If anybody wants to do the human pendulum, that's up to them. This is just our opinion, our own personal opinion.
Our own personal opinion.
I'm not going to try and sway you. Sway you. Sorry. Do you know what
that was good for you, that.
Sorry. But no, I'm not going to try and put people off it. It's up to them. It's up to them.
Now,
I know, yeah. It's up to them. If they want to do it, they want to do it. And I'm not going to...
Each to their own,
I'm not going to make fun of them or anything like
whatever way.
But in my personal opinion about the human pendulum, you're just standing there in a circle. You, like you said, like if you close your eyes,
Yeah.
you'll feel yourself go forward or backwards. I know they ask questions. If
Yeah.
if you're male, push the person forward. If you're female, push them backwards,
Yeah.
etc., etc. But your own kind of gravity does that anyway.
It does, yeah.
That's what I think of it. I mean, I don't know what your thoughts on that is.
My thoughts are exactly the same. Yeah. I mean, as you say, each to their own. Whatever works, if they believe that it works, then that's absolutely fine.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say it doesn't work.
No,
it's only in my opinion and your opinion.
Yeah.
I think it's personally, I think it's rubbish.
Yeah.
Being blunt.
Yeah.
But again, somebody might correct me and say, well, we've done this and we've had this, we've had this.
Some people might get great results from it, and that's that's absolutely fine.
But I'd like to know where they come from, because I mean, we all know where the Ouija board come from.
Yeah, and the pendulum.
We know where the SLS come from. We know where, how table tipping starts. But a human pendulum, where did it come from? Whose idea was it?
I don't know. I mean, I've seen the pendulum being used. I believe in that. I do believe in that. But where did it go from? Holding a bit of chain with a crystal on the bottom over like a board or a yes and no or whatever you want to hold it over. It's a
human pain.
So a human standing there. I don't know. I really don't.
But if people try it and it works for them, fantastic. If people enjoy it,
brilliant.
Go for it.
Yeah.
I
personally don't like it.
No, I don't. It's just a topic we talk about. We're talking about different topics through. We've been having a chat about this today. Let's bring some of the conversations up.
Yeah.
If you want to have a talk about the human pendulum and give your opinion, if you like it, and that'd be great.
Yeah, definitely.
That's just our side. I like to listen to both sides. I like sitting on the fence, but I'm just giving you my opinion of it.
Yeah, definitely.
Like that. And going from the human pendulum to the dowsing rods.
Dowsing rod, yeah. I've only ever used them once or twice.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and the first time I ever used dowsing rods was when I was in school, Jamie. I remember using them to find water.
In those days? Well, you would do in those days, wouldn't you?
Yeah, cool. No, that's what we used them for. You used to use them in school as an experiment to find water.
So, in a way, it must. I mean, I do like the dowsing rods. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes I'm a bit skeptic on it, but it's healthy to be skeptic.
It is.
And I've used them. I've used them here, and I've seen people using them here.
Yeah.
One person more interested in me using them was a fellow called Don Phillips, who I know.
Oh right, yeah, Don, yeah.
And he'd done them here, and it was interesting because where they were crossing over to him, we know there's something there. But he'd never been here before, and it was going across exactly where
that's
was.
A coincidence.
So it makes you think, yeah. But also, when we'd done the dowsing rods here, we know the spring down in the cellar.
Yeah.
When I went over the dowsing rods there, they crossed over the spring, and when they moved away, it went across. Yeah. But again, I have that thought is you've got to have really good sturdy hands, because if you're moving and you're shaking, they're going to move.
Possibly, yeah. But I think they have to be perfectly straight, don't they?
That's right, yeah.
If you have your hands at a slight angle, tilted like towards each other, then they will tend to cross. But yeah, I do believe in them.
I've still got a set of dowsing rods.
Have you?
Yeah.
I'd have to bring them one night.
I usually bring them, but they stay in the box, so it'd be worth doing that. Yeah, and having a go at that. But I do like the dowsing rods. It goes back many, many years. I think they go back before the Ouija boards were invented.
I think it does, doesn't it?
And you see people use not metal dowsing rods, but you see people with twigs, picking twigs up.
Yeah.
Little branches and holding them, and they go across.
Yeah.
So I don't know how far back it does go.
But they use for several different things for finding water. I've heard. I mean, I watched all the gold programs where they like finding gold. They use for finding gold and everything.
And does it work on the go?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I mean,
it
I've
does
not
work,
seen
yeah.
that. That's why I'm asking.
It does
you know.
actually work.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously it's an old timers technique.
Yeah.
It does actually work.
Well, you do. I mean, you used to see it a lot. The dowsing rods. Everyone used to use them.
Yeah.
And again, that's gone. You know, they're in the past at the moment. You know.
Well, they're not very.
I mean, that's an ancient
There's
kind
nothing
of
technical to them, is there?
No,
Really?
no.
There's no technology involved.
It's natural.
So, yeah, it is. Yeah.
So there's another one. If any, I mean, a lot of people used to say use copper rods.
Well, yeah, that's what they are, really.
Yeah,
Aren't they?
that,
Made of
man,
copper.
are not copper rods, man. But I mean, I think the handles are copper. Do you know, it's been a long time since I last used them, so
yeah,
I can't remember.
I know.
Yeah,
Good ones.
but,
I know.
yeah, I'm just losing my voice here, Jonathan.
I
So
know,
I'm just
yeah.
gonna have a quick swig of
Alright.
water.
No, I do like the dowsing rods.
Yeah.
I think you should bring them and we'll have a little go with them one night. So
Yeah,
we'll experiment with them.
Well, I like experimenting with any kind of paranormal stuff. You know.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of electronic stuff, but I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
Once I've had a go of it, that's it. You know.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
The only thing we use electronically wise is the cat balls.
Yeah, the cat balls.
They're very good.
They are.
The other thing we use is the REM pod.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
But funny thing is with the REM pod, I mean, we haven't used the walkie-talkies. We haven't been on ghost hunts before for a long time. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I was there was a group in one time. I was watching them, and he got the REM pods out and he put them out all over the place and that. And then he radioed through on his walkie-talkie to say that they're out.
Yeah.
The REM pods went off.
Walkie-talkie.
Yeah.
Interfering.
Yeah.
Say it's all radio waves, isn't it? And
Yeah. So
didn't we have that one time a couple of years ago? And using a walkie-talkie, and it affects the K2.
it affects the K2, yeah. So it's
Yeah.
frequencies again, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know that it happens.
Yeah.
You know,
that's right.
the only thing they did is say, don't use the walkie-talkies. If they've only got the walkie-talkies that are going to go off,
Yeah.
and they don't use them and the REM pod goes off, something's interfering with it.
Could be anything. Could be a taxi. What about
Well,
if a taxi goes past?
This is what I was going to say. You'd have to take a walkie-talkie outside
And try.
and try it,
Yeah.
because you know sometimes the REM pods could be going off.
Yeah.
And it could be a taxi going past. Not very often a taxi will go past, mind you. I mean, they do here. But, you know, it's worth a trap. Just
I
have a
don't know
quick
how
piece.
radio waves work, but what about mobile phones? Are they going to affect them? They
The only
affect
one
the
way to
K2
find out.
meter.
Yeah.
So if a walkie-talkie can affect the K2 meter, and a mobile phone we know affects
Yeah.
the K2 meter, is it possible that a mobile could affect
Yeah.
a REM
Well,
pod?
next time we put a K2 out, what we'll do is if we're in the hall or wherever we are, if the K2 goes off, we'll listen if a car goes past.
Yeah.
And if it does it again and the car goes past, it could be taxis.
Yeah.
But taxis usually don't use the walkie-talkies when they're driving. They're usually, you know. But this is the thing about electronics; it can
You don't know.
it's
do you?
interfered anyway.
Yeah. I mean, they don't really use them radios like they used to. I know they
No.
have
No.
all the little computer, and some of them are on the mobile phone,
Mm.
aren't they?
A lot
Some
of
of them
them-
have the screens fitted
Yeah,
with all the stuff on, but you're still getting radio waves, aren't you? Or frequencies.
yeah.
You're still using them.
yeah. Well, I was talking to my son Mark the other day about. I'm still trying to get him on the show, and he was talking about frequencies and things like that, about music
Yeah.
and how music put certain vibrations in a song for you to like. It's because
Yeah.
you've got frequencies in your body.
Excuse me.
And I think what a frequency is the vibrations I might like, you might not like, but I like that song. And he explained it. I mean, to me, I was like,
Yeah.
huh, you know, my
Well,
hand was,
It's like what we were talking about a few weeks ago, wasn't it, with Nigel Bad Ben, and when he was saying they put ultrasound into horror movies,
that's right.
which you can't hear, but makes already put you on like
On edge.
on edge, yeah.
Well, this was a similar thing, what Mark was saying.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can understand that, you know, some of the things that we might be getting might be that.
Yeah.
Now, I was talking to him also about peripheral vision,
Right, okay,
corner of the eye stuff.
Yeah.
And he explained stuff about that. Oh my God. I'm not even going to go there because...
Mind-blowing.
Mind blowing.
Yeah.
My blind exploded. He was explaining about that we can only see so... You know, like... I can't explain it over the radio, but... Like, say, about 4 inches on either side.
Right, okay.
And that's why you get peripheral vision. But
Yeah.
other things can be outside that vision, what you can't see. And just every now and then you capture something.
Right.
Even though you think
okay,
it's
yeah.
paranormal, it could be there.
Right, got you. Yeah.
But I'm going to leave that to Mark because Mark can explain it as, you know.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different explanations, isn't there?
There is.
Yeah, it's just... It is. Sometimes it is mind-blowing, but it's good to
It
get
is.
different perspectives on things all the time.
Well, this is what it's good about the paranormal. I mean, we all love the paranormal, and
Yeah.
I don't think there'll be a day we won't love it because it's an adventure.
Yeah.
It's exciting. It's
Definitely.
unexplainable.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying it's unexplainable. But
Most times.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a hobby,
Mm.
and it's something that everybody's interested in. Well,
Yeah. Well,
90% of the
90,
people in the world are interested in it. Speak to someone, they're interested because they've had an experience. So we'll never get bored of it.
No,
You know, it's
No.
such a wide range of an interest.
definitely.
But you've also got to think logically.
Mm.
You know, most of the time you've got to think logically.
Yeah, you'd have.
So, you know, this is the good thing about talking about the equipment and things like that. And,
Yeah.
you know, putting it out there for, you know, for people to think about.
Yeah.
And do you know what? I've really enjoyed the conversation tonight.
It's been great,
I
hasn't
know,
it?
but it's getting to the end of the show.
Already.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Just as we were getting into a really
I know,
deep
yeah.
conversation.
Getting in there.
Yeah, but I've seen you yawning before and you just want to get back to the M&Ms anyway.
You've had them all.
I know, but I didn't crunch them when I was on the radio, did I?
Oh, hell no.
But what I'd like to do is I'd like to thank, again, Emma Flood
Yeah.
for the conversation we had with her. Superb. Can't wait for it to come on
Brilliant.
again. And also, what a great investigation we've had. Don't forget to
Yeah.
listen into part 2 next week. And along with Axiom.
That's right.
We've
yeah.
got a 2-parter with Axiom. So I'd like to say thanks to Jonathan for coming in tonight again.
You're
Well, he's in
welcome.
every week, isn't he? He's my
I know.
co-host.
I know.
And I'd like to thank everybody for listening in. And we will be back again this time next week. So please join us on Access Paranormal from Jonathan and myself. Good night.
Good night.